Hi guys, welcome to another day of talking to the camera. It's Christmas today, so we are gathering with the family in a villa that we usually go to during holidays, and it's gonna be harder to film these days because I'm gonna be constantly with other people. But I managed to find some time today. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that tomorrow, so the challenge might fail, but I'm okay with that. I'm the progress that I've had in the last however many days. The challenge is almost done, so even if I lose a few days, I'm still gonna be happy about the result. And yeah, about the proof of address, there was I asked more people, and a guy that is like a notary in the US, and he specializes in like form 1583 or whatever, 87, I don't know what it was the correct one, but he specializes only in that. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically those virtual addresses that you can rent and use for proof of address if you don't have any other address. But the problem with them is that they are just mail receivers. They are not meant to be business addresses and stuff. So some USPs, not USPs, but mail service providers don't designate themselves as a CMRA. They don't designate themselves as a CMRA, which is illegal to my understanding, and a lot of guys have been using this loophole to establish their US businesses, because without an address you can't open a bank account, you can't do anything. You can still get an LLC and file taxes and be required to pay taxes, but you can't do anything. You can't accept payments or do anything without an address and utility bill. So this guy has been very angry, and he's about to sue some of these providers that they're not designated as CMRAs, and that they don't they skip the notary when filing that form 1583, because it's for some reason required that a notary be present when you fill that form, because they open your mail and stuff. But I was very happy that I didn't have to go through that and pay some notary money just to fill out the form. But this guy is not very happy about that. He says he's the number one guy for form 1580 whatever, and he says that he's losing business because of that. He's trying to make an honest book. We talked a bit. I actually reached out to him about how to get a utility bill for such an address, but that guy is very he says that's wrong, you shouldn't use that. It's the registering companies like Busy that register your company are scammers that don't use a notary to file this form. and that they are not CMRA. And this guy basically completely neglects everyone who wants to do business in the US, who is not from the US. And he says that he wants to he's going under oath about it, so he's basically dealing with some wow stuff. I don't know if he's gonna sue them or what, and he's gonna do that in when Trump gets in office. So hearing guys like that and of the problems that I might experience when trying to get proof of address for such a virtual address, I decided that I'm gonna go with another option, with the more expensive one. It costs like $250 a month. But the problem is that you have to pay it yearly, which is like $3,000. So they say that they can provide a lease, and it works for their clients, and they usually specialize in that kind of thing, with non-residents and foreigners opening bank accounts and companies in the US, expanding in the US. So I'm just gonna go with them. I'm gonna bite the bullet, hopefully. My only concern is that if it doesn't work, I'm gonna have to pay $3,000 for basically nothing. But it should work, from what I understand. I'm not gonna deal with those virtual addresses. You know, at any moment those addresses could be designated as CMRA again, and you're gonna have problems with Mercury, with Relay, with banks, with Stripe, with PayPal, that kind of thing. And they're probably gonna request more utility bills in the future, and it's just not worth it. So much effort and so much uncertainty, and you're doing something that's kind of illegal. But I think that you shouldn't be even required to open to have an address, physical one, when you're doing an online business. It's very stupid in my opinion. Online businesses don't have a physical address. They can be done from anywhere, including home. So people are not gonna give out their home address. And the problem is that the laws globally are written a very long time ago, when internet wasn't such a prominent thing, and they're still not updated. But I have a hope that in the future this will be alleviated to some extent. I think that allowing virtual addresses to be used as business addresses to receive mail should be allowed, and it's a great middle ground between having an address and not having an address, because at the end of the day, the purpose of the address is to be able to receive mail. It's very weird when they require a real physical location, and some people say that you can't even put any location unless you have an employee working there, and you own the building and you rent it and that kind of stuff. So all of this is unnecessary, and just is inefficient for the government, for the people. So I'm just not gonna deal with that. I wanted to try out a virtual address first, see if I can verify it. But it's harder to get a utility bill than I expected. They don't accept any kind of utility bill. And I want to sleep peacefully, knowing that my address is more legit when I go with that other more expensive option where I actually have a lease. And they also take care of my taxes and other documents, which is very, very handy. And yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to film tomorrow or the next day. I'm probably gonna be able to, because I'm gonna go back to my hometown. But that's about it for today. Thank you for watching again. I'll do my best to film tomorrow as well. And I also want to add that this notary guy, he says like he's like the most knowledgeable about this kind of stuff, but in my opinion he's completely ignorant about people who can't get an address in the US. He's doing that just so he can maybe increase his business. And I told him that millions of people will have headaches, will suffer, will have their dreams ruined, a lot of them as well, because they won't probably be able to have an address when millions of these businesses no longer have an address. If what he wants to do goes through, which is basically require form for being notarized, which is more expensive and more time consuming, and also not allow those addresses to be used in such a way. I don't think he has such a problem with people using it as a business address. He just I think he cares too much about what the law says, and not why it was why the laws are written. And at the end of the day, they are written to make the lives of people easier, to make things more just. But he just he makes money from people having to go through legal troubles, so he has no problem with that. You know, if the government tomorrow wants to burden the businesses with 10 more stupid documents that they have to notarize and fill out, he's gonna be very happy about that. And with people like that, you probably shouldn't work with. You want your notary and law guys to understand your situation and basically help you with whatever they can, and not burden you down with more legal stuff. And I'm gonna talk more about this in the future. But yeah, that's a big risk for a lot of non-residents in the US who have businesses. Hopefully his plans don't go through. And I'm gonna I'm gonna keep myself updated and also update you in the future about this kind of stuff. And yeah, thank you for watching again.